Thanks for joining us for the first ThinkerFest, an event that is going to join the MIT Initiative on the Digital Economy and Thinkers 50 as your co-hosts for what is going to be a powerful and jam-packed program today, examining social networks in our digital economy. I'm Devin Cook. I'm the Associate Director of the MIT Initiative on the Digital Economy, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to join us today. As we get started, I'd like to be the first to tell you, for those who don't know, a little bit about the MIT Initiative on the Digital Economy, share a few logistics, and then hand off the proceedings to Sinan Aral from the MIT Initiative on the Digital Economy, or the IDE, and Dearlove from Thinkers 50. So the MIT Initiative on the Digital Economy. We are a collaborative of researchers at MIT at the Sloan School of Management, and our mission is clear and simple. We are aiming to shape a brighter digital future for people across the world. And we do that in three different ways. First, through research, first and foremost. We are focused on 8 different areas of research, which I'll share in a moment. Second, education, which comes through in a myriad of different ways. And third, through outreach and convenings, one of which you're experiencing right now today. So looking at our research very briefly first, we look at 8 different areas that are, we think, very holistic in terms of what is critical to think about in the digital economy. Misinformation and fake news, data and analytics, human-first AI, AI, labor and economics, technologies that create prosperity, tech for good, building a distributed economy, and Web3. And each of these research groups is led by a star in the academic world, some of whom you'll hear from today, and others that we hope that you'll find opportunities to engage with as you engage more with our organization. Second is through education. So there are lots of ways to engage with us on education. One way that you can actually do so in the next couple of months, no matter what your relationship with the IDE is at this point, is our Analytics Lab program, an action learning course where if you have an organizational opportunity or challenge that requires some data analysis, but may not want to or have the resources to engage in internally, look to us. We have a set of graduate students who are very sophisticated in their analytics capabilities, who are looking for projects to work on with organizations just like yourself. So please reach out to us, email at alab@mit.edu, and we'd love to talk with you. Also through education, and sort of also through a convening or outreach, so to speak, is our newest offering, a podcast, The Digital Insider with Sinan Aral, which I highly encourage you to subscribe to and listen to, because he is getting to the hard science behind the digital economy. And this has become a very popular and fast rising on the charts podcast. It's featured the likes of Maria Ressa, Nobel Prize winner, MSNBC host Ali Velshi, the CTO of Accenture, Paul Daugherty, and countless others. So definitely encourage you to check out Sinan's podcast, The Digital Insider, subscribe via this QR code. And of course, there's many more opportunities to engage with us through events. We have events throughout the year. You're joining us for one of the first of the year, which is exciting, the Thinkers 50 at MIT event. And then, of course, upcoming, we have our social media summit, which has drawn 30,000 viewers virtually in the last 2 years. Our ID annual conference is coming up for our stakeholders. We have a platform strategy summit. This is the 11th year that we've run it, coming up. And then throughout the academic year, we have a seminar series focused primarily on academic topics, but bringing in leaders from industry as well. And then lastly, in November, we have a conference on digital experimentation, which brings some of the brightest minds in analytics to join to discuss their projects. So highly encourage you to join us for many of these events, most of which are available publicly to the public, and certainly get involved with us as a stakeholder to join us for our annual conference. And being a corporate member, we are grateful deeply to all of our members who make our work possible. Thank you to our founding member, Accenture, and all the others who have made the IDE possible and who we're able to engage with on a regular basis. And if you're interested in becoming a corporate member, please do reach out to us as well. There'll be contact information at the end. We also couldn't survive without the support of a generous group of foundations and individuals who are really thinking deeply about these topics that we'll be discussing today. So join us, and there are many reasons to do so. You get early exposure to our research. You get to take advantage of so many different educational opportunities. Supporting the MIT ecosystem and getting involved in the MIT ecosystem, we become your conduit, your liaison to all of the incredible things going on at the university. And you're making a difference because there are some grand challenges that we are focused on solving in the digital economy today. And the more of us that can contribute, the sooner we'll be able to find positive ways forward. So stay in touch. You can reach out to us via our website at ide.mit.edu or email us at digital@mit.edu. And then definitely encourage you to sign up for our newsletter. There's a QR code that'll take you right to the page. And we'll be circulating these slides as interstitials once the program kicks off. So if you don't have your phone out, you can grab it, and in the breaks, you'll have an opportunity to sign on. So a couple of housekeeping items as we get started. This is meant to be a program where you'll hear from some incredibly insightful leaders in the social network space, and we hope that you will engage with them. So we encourage you to ask questions. If you look at your webcast screen, there is a place to enter questions, and we will be monitoring that and sharing those questions with the speakers. So your voice will be heard. So we encourage you to drop any inquiries there. Comments welcome as well. And then in addition, throughout the program at the end, we will be sharing a feedback poll. We would love to hear from you because our goal is to continue to iterate and improve these programs to make them as valuable for you as possible. So we appreciate you filling out the poll at the end. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce you to our lead co-hosts, Sinan Aral from the IDE and Dearlove from Thinkers 50, who will share more about their incredible organization. We are so pleased to be engaging with on this event. So thanks everyone, and enjoy today's jam-packed program.
Great to see you. Welcome everyone to Thinker Fest 2023, uniting Thinkers 50 and the MIT Initiative on the Digital Economy. I'm Sinan Aral, the director of the MIT Initiative on the Digital Economy, and this is Dearlove, co-founder of Thinkers 50. Des, it's great to see you in person and fantastic to welcome you to MIT here on campus.
It's fantastic to be here. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here and walk the hallowed halls of MIT. It's fantastic.
So we're super excited to bring you this program today because of the tremendous importance of the topics that we'll be discussing. The MIT Initiative on the Digital Economy is dedicated to deeply understanding the digital economy and digital society. It's also dedicated to shaping a brighter digital future. So not just research, but also action to change the way society trends on these topics. And Thinkers 50 is a perfect collaborator for this event because Thinkers 50 is the pinnacle of management thinking. We cannot really imagine a better partner to bring you the most cutting edge thinking on the topics that we're going to talk about today. So you can't really think about society, the economy, and the future of humanity without thinking about some of the most important topics in digital. And we're honored and really pleased to be able to partner with Thinkers 50 today in order to bring you some of the latest and most cutting edge thinking on these important topics. And Des, some of the audience might not know Thinkers 50 intimately or deeply, so do you want to give us a rundown of the backstory and the mission of the organization?
Sure, yeah. So the Thinkers 50 mission is to be the world's most reliable resource for identifying, ranking, and sharing the most important management ideas of our age. And we aim for them to be ideas that can make a positive difference in the world. So that's the second part of it. So you can probably tell from my accent, we're based in London. We started life in 2001 when we published the first ever global ranking of business and management thinkers. And we've been publishing that every 2 years since, so we've been at it for 20-something years. In 2011, we added the Thinkers 50 Distinguished Achievement Awards, which the Financial Times calls the Oscars of management thinking, so we like that. And in 2015, we added the Thinkers 50 Radar List, where we try to identify the up-and-coming thinkers, the next generation, the new voices in management and business. And we also, at the other end of the spectrum, we created the Thinkers 50 Hall of Fame for people who'd made a huge contribution throughout their career. So we have those 4 lists, and then just last year we added 2 more lists. Books, a book list which is the contemporary list. It's the books that everybody should be reading because they're important now. But also we've got a list of classic books. the stuff that's stood the test of time, and every manager should have on their shelf.
I think this is so important. It's so important to be able to organize and to give a sense for people of what is the most important thinking in the management field. And you've been doing this for some time now. What in your mind has changed in recent times for you and for management thinking in general?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think what we've seen is, even back in 2011 when we introduced the Oscars, the Distinguished Achievement Awards, we still felt comfortable, probably too comfortable, with the sort of silos. Strategy was strategy, innovation was innovation, digital thinking was digital thinking. But I think what's happened is there's been an incredible blurring of the boundaries now. The things didn't used to overlap that much, but increasingly, if you think about a Venn diagram, if you can see the two sides of something like strategy and innovation, they overlap to such a huge extent now that to some extent, innovation is strategy. Most organizations, the strategy is to out-innovate the competition and move faster, so the two things have come together. The other thing, if I'm thinking of my Venn diagram, the square around it, or the rectangle around it, that space now is the digital economy. That's what's changed. So in a way of thinking about it is, I think, it's all pervasive. You can't talk about leadership unless you have a deep understanding of the digital economy. You can't talk about strategy unless you get it and you're paying attention. You can't do innovation. So all these things have sort of come together. So I guess we've moved from analog management, now we're kind of digital management.
Yeah, I think this is the key, and I think this is the reason why I feel so honored to lead the MIT Initiative on the Digital Economy. If you think about society today, if you think about the economy today, it's impossible to overstate the importance of digital topics. So generative AI, large language models like ChatGPT, social media and its impact on our economy, our democracy, our public health, workforce automation, the impacts on employment and unemployment of AI, roboticization, all of the different impacts and implications of remote work, hybrid work. This really is a set of topics that are transformative for human society, the rise of misinformation, the implications of polarization. And these are things that not only managers and policymakers, but parents and everyday citizens really need to have a handle on. So at the MIT IDE, we take this job extremely seriously, and it's awesome to hear Thinkers 50 thinking about this as well.
Yeah, no, and you've sort of anticipated and set up our first session, because we're going to be talking about how to fix the splinternet, because obviously what we wanted from the internet was to bring people together, I think, and obviously it's had some of the things you were talking about have had the opposite effect. But you've researched this. We're talking about how information moves through society, and particularly through digital society. In the Hype Machine, your book, you've got some fantastic research, and some people will be familiar with that, but other people maybe don't know that research. So can you give us the sort of short version just to tee us up for the first session?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of this is summarized in my book, The Hype Machine, but we've been very privileged to work with organizations like Twitter and LinkedIn to do very large-scale studies of how information moves in this digital ecosystem, to do large-scale experiments about how the design of algorithms affects outcomes, like who sees what information and what are the implications for voting and whether people take a vaccine and what type of products people buy and the spread of misinformation. We found things like, for example, that misinformation travels farther, faster, deeper, and more broadly than the truth in every category of information that we studied in a very large study of all of the tweets in the historical archive of Twitter. We've looked at, for example, the implications of algorithm design on who gets jobs on LinkedIn. We published this research in Science, and today we're going to start with a panel on polarization and misinformation, and you're going to hear from some of the world's leading thinkers on the topic with their most recent thoughts on not only what the problems are, but also what some of the potential solutions are, and I'm really excited to hear that.
I'm excited too. I can't wait to get started. Let's do it. Let's
Awesome.
do it.
Great to have you, and welcome everyone.